GM, hello everyone. Thank you to the watch parties in 11 countries and 18 cities tuning in today. 1 year ago today, Shardeum was launched. Over the past year, we've come a long way and achieved so much together as a community. But today, we're excited to share our most exciting milestone yet, the launch of Betanet, Shardeum Sphinx. Today we'll be giving an introduction to Shardeum Sphinx by Nishal Shetty and Omar Syed, Shardeum's co-founders. We'll be going through a demonstration of Sphinx. We'll provide a demo using the Node Validator dashboard and share the process to stake and unstake SHM with you.
Thanks, Greg. Hey, everyone. Great to be here. And I think we just had like a short demo of the Betanet in the last Q4 update. But today you guys are going to see like a comprehensive demo. Before that, I thought I'll just recap what we've done in the last 12 months. So for those who do not know, today is like the 1 year anniversary. I don't know if we call it a birthday of Shardeum, but the 2nd of Feb last year is when we announced Shardeum. And I think about 2 months after the announcement, probably in April, is when we released the first ever version of Shardeum, which was named Shardeum Liberty. And this naming again was chosen by the community. There was a series of things. In fact, even before the name was chosen, I think we all had a debate on how should you name the versions of Shardeum. And that again was put in front of the community, and the community chose to use monuments as the naming convention. And then subsequently, the first version was named Shardeum Liberty. We ran a similar voting mechanism for the Betanet as well. And we had about over 6,000 people voting for the 4 names, 4 options that were there. And Shardeum Sphinx emerged the winner, which is why the Betanet is being named as Shardeum Sphinx. Now, I think if you look at our 12 months progress, we've crossed over, or we're close to, I think, 500,000 users on the testnet, which probably makes Shardeum one of the largest, I would say, testnet launches ever. And that's a great sign for us as a community. It proves that what we're building is, there's a lot of demand. Everyone's waiting for it. We've also got hundreds of dApps deployed on the Shardeum Liberty. And we've got thousands of smart contracts deployed as well. Now with Shardeum Sphinx, the idea is, can we scale up the number of dApps and the number of smart contracts? And can we cross 1 million users? I think that'll be a pick before we go to the mainnet. Launching the mainnet with 1 million users will probably make this one of the largest mainnet launches ever. We are looking forward to it. And I'm so glad that we've got meetups in over 11 countries. And this everything was put together in a very short period of time, all thanks to the community. I think most of the meetups are being run by community members across the world. Let's continue to do that. And hopefully for the mainnet, we'll have a lot more countries. 11 is a good number, but I hope for the mainnet, we have a lot more countries joining in for the launch. With this, I would love to have Omar tell us a bit about what to expect. Omar, over to you.
All right. So before I get into my part, I want to let's have Atharva get started with doing the install, because the install process will take a little while. So Chandresh, if you can bring Atharva on, and then he can get the install process going. And then while that install process is running, I can talk for a little bit.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Wow. Hey guys, thanks Umar for the introduction. So now we're going to take a look at how you can set up the validator node and run your own validator and join the Betanet. So I have a doc open over here. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to take a look at it. So this is our documentation, which guides us through the process of installing and setting up our own validator node. And you can find this URL somewhere in the stream details, maybe in the stream comments. If you visit the URL, you'll be able to see this documentation. So it starts with some prerequisites. There are not a lot of prerequisites required on your system for you to start a validator node. You only need to have a running instance of Docker and the curl or a wget command. So most of you might already have curl or wget installed on your system. So just ensure that you have Docker, and that's pretty much all the prerequisites that you need. So once we have that, I'm gonna grab this URL that will download the installer script for us and install the node for us. So I'm gonna copy this link. I'm gonna head over to my terminal. I have it open down here, and I'm gonna paste that link over here. And once I press enter, it's gonna download the installer and it'll start the process for us. So yeah, so the installation has begun. It's going to ask us a couple questions that deal with some details as to how we want to configure the installation. So the very first installation is, do we want to run the web-based dashboard? So you can run the node through either a dashboard or a CLI. CLI is a command line interface, and a dashboard is a web-based graphical user interface. So you have both of these options to run the node, and I'm going to select yes for the web-based dashboard. And here, create a password. I have to set a password that is important because I'll be using that password to log in to my web-based dashboard. So I type my password, I press enter. Next is, which port do I want to run the dashboard on? I'm okay with running it on the default port of 8080, so I press enter. I'm also okay with installing it in the default directory. I press enter, and the installation is now begun. So the installer script is currently downloading a validator Docker image. It's going to install that Docker image, and it's going to use it to build a Docker container. And this container will house our web-based dashboard, and it's going to house our CLI. And then we can use this Docker container to run and manage our node. So the installation script that we just started and which is currently ongoing is quite robust. It'll take care of things like permission issues, like if you need to run your Docker with sudo, the installation script will take care of that. It will also ensure you have Docker Compose installed and running on your system, and if the Docker daemon is running, so it completes all these checks and gives you a feedback on maybe you need to start this or that for the installation script to run. So yeah, we'll let this installation script finish. It takes somewhere around 5 to 10 minutes. And once the installation is done, I'll share my screen again and we can pick it up from there. So handing it over back to the team. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Atharva. While that install process is going, I just wanted to say that, I'm incredibly excited about the launch today. This has been a long time in the making. The team has been working like really long hours and put in a lot of effort to get us to where we are today. We still have a long ways to go, but I'm sure that, there's going to be a lot of learning that comes from running the Betanet. And as you guys download the validators and try it out and give us feedback and tell us about the issues that you're having, we'll be continually working to make the process better, smoother, faster, and just get us to a really awesome, seamless experience in running a validator node. And one of the important things about running a Shardeum validator is, we've focused on trying to keep the resource requirements low. There's still work that we need to do to make it even lower, but it's not going to be like you have to buy an ASIC or you have to buy a GPU or anything like that. A standard computer will be all that you need to run a validator node.
So
and-
Omar, so one of the question is,
Yeah.
I think that's the question everyone's asking. Is there like a minimum hardware spec that you have in mind that people can get started with right now?
Yeah, for sure. So currently we're saying a system with like maybe 4 CPUs, 8 gigs of RAM, and maybe 200 gigs of hard drive space should be enough. So a system like that, you can easily rent for about $50 a month on most ISP. You do want to make sure that
an approximate. This is more of an approximation, but it might even be lower, right? You're just giving us a spec which is maybe comfortable to run on.
Yeah, exactly, right. And yeah, so these we're working towards trying to make like during the syncing when the node is syncing, it does use a lot of memory, but we're trying to work towards bringing these requirements down even further. So maybe even like a Raspberry Pi will be possible someday. So that'll be amazing.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah. So, but that's where it'll be awesome to have your guys' feedback and see like any kind of issues that you're running into, and that'll help us make the process better. And I'm really excited about the community that we're building, and I just want to say that it's because of what you guys are doing and the excitement that you guys are putting out. That's really keeping us going. The tech team doesn't talk to the community that much. We're kind of busy focused on what we're doing, but we do watch you guys and track what you guys are saying and all the memes and things that you guys are putting out. We do watch that kind of stuff. So so that helps drive us, and hopefully that we'll be building a really awesome product that everyone can be proud of for having contributed. So let's see with that. I think maybe we can check back on Atharva and see if the install process is done. If not, maybe we can take some more questions. Atharva, how's it going?
By the way, this is our most watched event. 2,100 people live right now.
Awesome.
It's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, I think Atharva might be coming.
Yeah, I think he's ready.
Okay, yeah. So picking up on where we left off, the installation process that we were taking a look at has now completed. And after all the installation output, the installer gives us some instructions which can help us get started. So we have some instructions here on how to use the web-based dashboard, and we also have some instructions on how to use the command line interface. So after the installation completes, the web-based dashboard starts at this particular URL. This URL will differ according to which port or which values you selected during the installation. Since I went ahead with the default value of 8080, my dashboard is running over here. And I can open it, connect my wallet, and then the dashboard is ready to use. But along with the dashboard, we also have the CLI. And to use the CLI, we open a shell prompt inside the Docker container that the installer built for us. So to go over there, we run the shell script. And so that's inside the installation directory and over here. So I'm inside the Docker container now, and I have access to the operator CLI over here. So if I run the operator CLI, it gives me a list of commands. And all of these commands are everything you need to start your node, stake some SHM, earn some rewards, unstake, and stop your node. The CLI is completely capable of running and managing your node, right? So if you don't prefer to use a web-based dashboard, you can use this option. But as we will see now, it's far more easier and it's a lot more intuitive to do it through the web-based dashboard. So let's take a look at that right now. I'll hand it over to Amir, who will present the web-based dashboard, and we can take it from there.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Atharva. So let me go ahead and share my screen with the web-based dashboard here. All right, so if that's coming through for everyone, let me go ahead and get started. You'll see when you go to URL with your node's IP address and go to port 8080 or whichever port you set, is this overview page. And this covers things like node status, the amount of staked SHM, reward earned after and getting some reward for having your node be part of the network. And down here, it has a status showing kind of in a like really common way the uptime of your node, whether it was offline, online, or validating. So the next page up is performance. And over here, it shows you some stats about the physics of the node. Things such as the version number of the software, performance, stuff like CPU use, RAM usage, disk usage. We have other representations of this information down here in the form of pie charts, and things like transaction throughput is also shown on the performance tab. All right, next one up is maintenance. And over here you have options kind of related to the maintenance of the node, stuff that's relevant to running your node, joining the network, adding and removing stake, stuff like notifications to tell you whether your version is up to date, and stuff like benchmarks, which are coming soon, which will tell you whether your CPU, RAM, and disk are par. So this tab here shows you whether your node has joined or not the network. It has a button to start the node. So if I go ahead and click that, become active and then go syncing shortly. And then this right here is the ability for you to stake from your node. So if you click connect wallet, it should connect to the Web3 wallet that you have installed. So I'll go ahead and connect with MetaMask here. So there we go. My MetaMask wallet was connected. It pulled the address. It has the public key of my node, and it'll ask me for a stake amount. So I won't actually put that in for now. Node already has some amounts to stake for it. And I think that does it for the maintenance page. All right, next one up is network. So this has some statistics about the transactions right now, things such as network health, which is going to show a ratio of active to standby nodes. Things such as like network reward, which is going to be a estimated total of the amount of network reward you'll earn for having a node in the network. And average APR, which is a bit more calculation for what's going on there. And things like network size, which will show you how many active validators are in the node at the given moment, and then standby validators as well. And also a number showing you the number of desired nodes that the network wants. All right, next one up is alert info. This tab is coming soon, but this will give node operators the option to put their phone number and email address in and give them a notification if the node that you're able to get it back up as soon as possible and continue earning. And finally, here's a settings tab. This is also coming soon. It'll have some options for you to set things up for your dashboard and configuration options for the node itself. yeah, this is a small overview of what the node operator dashboard looks like and will feel like to node operators. And yeah, after the Betanet release today, we hope that you will enjoy using it to operate nodes in the network.
All right, thanks a lot, Amar. Maybe Andrew can show us a quick view of what the network actually looks like. Andrew.
Yes, sure. So what we've got here is our monitor server, and y'all have seen this before in our past demos, but this one's pointing at our Betanet Beta 1 environment. And so right now you can see that we have 20 active nodes and 150 desired. So these gray nodes waiting around the edge here are Shardeum run validators, along with most of the ones in here, Shardeum run validators, except for the ones we're also launching and joining in for this demo. So basically, once we get to 150 nodes in this network, rotation will start, and people can still join. And what will happen is these nodes that have been in the network for the longest will rotate out, and then new people will be able to rotate in with their nodes. If the load goes up on our network, then our auto scaling will start, and this number will be able to climb. And I think we have it for the beta set to a much higher number. So if a lot of people join in, then we'll see a much bigger network. And occasionally you'll see a red node here, and that's one of the nodes that's left the test already. We were probably testing unstaking this morning or something like that. And the yellow node would be a node that's syncing into the network. Let's see. Oh yeah, Priyanka had a question. How can we see if our node is active or inactive? So the best way to see that is from the node operator GUI. There's a status panel that will say if your node is like inactive, or then there'll be like 3 other states if your node's actually turned on. If your validator's turned on, it will be standby, it'll be syncing, or it will be active. And so when you first start up your validator, it'll be standby. Then once you stake it, and if your node rotates in, it'll be syncing for a while. I think we're going to share that GUI screen in a second here. But it'll be syncing for a while, and then when you see active in your node operator panel, that means your node's actually like in the network earning stake. Or sorry, earning rewards.
Can people start running nodes right away?
Let's see. I think we've got to update a few of our external URLs to like point into things, but it should be maybe that'll be set up by the time we're done with this meeting here.
Yeah, because they would also need some SHM to stake. So they could download and install the validator, and they could start it up, but it won't have the stake to be able to join yet. And so we've got to turn on, the faucet and all of that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So once the faucet starts, that's when everyone will be able to probably start the actual staking and validating. But they can all right now download and just be ready with it. That's something that they can do. And I think for everyone watching, there's a link to the docs on how to run the node on the comment section in the YouTube channel. So please click that, and you can learn how to install and get the node ready. We'll announce as soon as the faucets are live, so that you can start claiming them. I think the other thing, I think we're getting some more questions. But Andrew, Omar, you guys have something to share?
Well, yeah. So this pretty much shows a demonstration of how to use the operator CLI and the GUI, and I think I mentioned what kind of a node you'll need to run to get started. Basically, we're looking at something like a node that has about 4 CPUs, maybe about 8 gigs of RAM, and then about 250 gigs of disk space. So that's not too souped up of a system. I should be able to get a system like that from an ISP for about $50 a month, and that'll
Omar,
be awesome to try that out. Yeah.
So Omar, this is a proof of stake network. What is slashing?
Omar,
Yeah. Sorry about that. I accidentally got on mute there. So in the slashing in the staking network, slashing basically means that if your node misbehaves or doesn't participate, then you are at risk of losing some of your stake. So that is a way that we ensure that every validator that's participating in the network is working to help the network as opposed to trying to do something counterproductive, right? So so that's the idea behind a lot of the networks where you're required to stake.
So is there a risk of slashing during Betanet?
There will be. We haven't implemented all of the slashing rules yet. As we continue with Betanet and we do more rollouts of the validator software, we'll be adding more and more rules for slashing.
Awesome. Another question, a community member wants to know if they can run a node on their mobile device.
Some of these mobile devices nowadays are getting pretty powerful. You may actually be able to, but you'll need to go in and install Dockers and especially with Android devices, there's ways to just become root on those devices and install things however you want. But we don't have an app or anything like that already made where you can just download an app and run that to run a validator node. But I mean, your Android device is a Linux machine. It probably has the hardware capacity that you need, and RAM and disk and all of that is there as well. So yeah, if you're pretty technically savvy, you could probably figure out how, even right now, how to run a validator node from a mobile device.
Great. Man, that'd be super exciting. I want to go find a Linux device I can buy today and start running some mobile nodes. So I think we mentioned Mac operating systems and Linux operating systems that can run Shardeum validators, but the Windows OS can't be used at first, correct? It's not compatible with Windows yet?
Well, it is. So that you first have to install Dockers on Windows and Docker Compose. So as long as you have that, you can also run it on a Windows machine as well.
Awesome. That's great.
I think there's one more question.
Yeah. Can everyone run a validator?
Yeah. So it's permissionless. It's open for everyone. That's what Shardeum is all about. You don't need to ask permission. So feel free to run your own nodes, even on the testnet. But that's going to be true on the mainnet as well. So it's not just a testnet gimmick or something. While the testnet is open for all, even the mainnet is going to be open for anyone to run a node. That's how we build a truly decentralized blockchain. So yeah, and I think one of the reasons for making sure the hardware requirements are low is again to ensure that there is widespread participation. and anyone can join in. So yeah, and we would love to see you guys joining and running nodes. I think one of the questions I saw was, would there be any incentives for running nodes during the Betanet? So we do plan to do that. It's not there today because this is just day one of the Betanet release. But I think the team is going to work on figuring out a really good incentive program. Having said that, please do understand that this is the Betanet. This is release one. What we expect from everyone is to find out what's not working, what are the problems, and report to us so that the team can quickly fix and make this better. As soon as we realize that the Betanet has become stable, we will then proceed to launch some sort of an incentive program for running nodes. But yeah, it's definitely coming, and we'll announce as soon as it is ready.
Omar, can we run validators on a VPN?
You probably can run a VPN and then run your validator node, through a VPN. That should work.
Great.
I mean, there might be a little bit of things that you have to pay attention to when you're configuring your node, but it's not impossible.
Great. Will SHM reduce if my node is offline for too long?
So if you your SHM will not reduce if your node is offline. The SHM that you've earned while your node was online, you'll be able to keep that. The only time your SHM would reduce is if your node was active and it just dropped out of the network when it wasn't supposed to, or if it tried to do something malicious. But if your node joined the network, served its time until the network rotated it out, then there's no reason that your node should lose any SHM at all.
Cool. And will there be a ranking
I think
system
one more.
for valid?
Okay, I'll ask my question after this. But yeah, go on.
Oh yeah, I was just curious. Is there a ranking system for validators?
So no, all validators are equal, right? I mean, we could maybe someday have like a leaderboard or something like that, just to gamify and make it fun and interesting to run a validator. But as far as the network is concerned, there is no inherent ranking system.
Awesome.
I think the other question was for this Betanet, would everyone have to use the MetaMask wallet, or can they use other wallets as well for running the nodes? I think it's about that staking part, I guess.
Yeah, that might be a good question for Andrew or Amer, because I know eventually we want every wallet to any wallet that you could connect to a GUI like that should work. But I don't know if we've tested it with everything yet, because we've the team's mostly been testing with MetaMask. So
all right, but the intention is to make sure that people can run using any wallet. So yeah.
It looks like the Rainbow Kit functionality was added. So Rainbow Kit adds support for numerous Web3 wallets. Ideally, it should be working. With other wallets, we haven't tested it yet, but as you guys both mentioned, the goal over time is very quickly to allow all Web3 wallets to work.
I think there's one more question. Can you run multiple nodes on the same machine? Is that technically possible?
It is technically possible. The different nodes would be using different ports. But just make sure that your machine is pretty powerful in terms of has lots of enough CPUs and RAM and all of that. But yeah, I mean, we do that all the time in our development. We run multiple nodes on the same machine.
Great. But I'm guessing the current release of the software does not have that out of the box, right? You can only run it once.
Yeah, that may. Yeah, I don't know. Andrew or Amir might have to pitch in terms of like, hey, does Docker have any kind of limitation or the way things are installed? Maybe we're installing all of the versions in the same directory or something like that. So, Andrew?
Yeah. So when I've been
Andrew,
running multiple.
You're on mute.
Oh, just a second. Test.
No, I think there's a lag.
Oh, okay.
I'm able to hear you.
All right, great. Yeah, so I like the way I've been running multiple validators using the node operator stuff at home is I was using virtual machines. So I had one computer that had enough cores and RAM. And so I just made little like virtual machine instances and I put one node operator in each one of those. And then the second step was I had to go into the node operator CLI, and we have like a help on that. And I did have to set some custom ports for that. So the trick is, if you're just a user at home, the thing is you're only going to have one external IP. So in order to work with one external IP, we have to say, oh, well, node 2 is going to use these two ports for its external and internal port. Node 3 is going to use these two ports. So it's a little more technical, but it's certainly possible. And also, you'll need to have a different operator account with each node. So, maybe you have one like main, account in Shardeum, but you would transfer enough funds to be operators to stake each of these individual nodes.
There are questions about whether KYC is required to run a validator, or if we have plans in the future to make it easy for non-technical people to run validators. And that's the aim from today is to make it so anyone who wants to run a validator is able to do so. That's the key to decentralization, is low barriers to entry for node operators. So, our doc to run a validator in a tutorial video will be published today. And our focus from today is to make it as easy as possible for anyone in the world to run a validator with no KYC required. It's completely permissionless. And I guess one last personal question, Omar, is, in a lot of other networks, you need much beefier hardware, that's more expensive to run. How are we able to have such low hardware requirements and make it so affordable for anyone to run a validator, yet we still promote this amazing, throughput capacity or TPS that we're promoting? How can we achieve linear scaling and, have such high TPS with such low validator requirements?
Yeah, so the key to doing that is that our validator nodes are not storing lots and lots of historical transaction data. They're only maintaining the state. And even with that, because the network is sharded, any one node doesn't have to maintain the complete state. It only maintains a partial state. And so that reduces a lot of the requirements on these nodes to download, lots of data, to hold lots of data on the disk. And, as time goes on, the amount of data that your node has to hold on disk would continue to increase, in networks like Ethereum and, lots of the other smart contract platforms out there. But we're offloading that historical transaction data to archive nodes. And those archive nodes are actually much, much beefier nodes. Currently, we don't have the community being able to run that. But in the future, the community will also be able to run those nodes as well. And so, the whole network will be decentralized, but there will be people that run validator nodes, which are much lighter. And then there will be some people who can run archive nodes, which would be much more beefier and, will probably cost on the order of about $1,000 a month to run a node like that. whereas running a validator node would be like about $50 a month. So that's the key to how we are able to allow all these smaller nodes to participate in the network. And the important thing to remember is that the consensus decisions are made only by the validator nodes and not the archiver nodes. So archiver nodes are only storing the data and transactions that have been decided upon by the validator nodes. So there'll be lots of validator nodes in the thousands, but there may only be about like maybe 100 archive nodes. But they don't do any of the consensus.
Huh.
Greg, I think you were muted.
Yeah, Greg, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Reduce the requirements as much as possible to participate in consensus. And the historical data isn't involved in consensus, so that's where the archivers come in. And yeah, it's just so exciting that as we add more validators, the throughput capacity is increasing as well. And we've maximized decentralization. I think we have a few watch parties all around the world. I believe, is it 6 different countries or 8 countries and I think 16 different cities. Hey,
everyone.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Hello from Indonesia.
Yeah, hello.
Hello everyone.
Hey
We are
everyone,
live
thank you.
from Delhi. I hope
Congratulations.
actually the light is dim. I hope you are able to see everyone. Can we turn off the lights?
Yeah, we can see all of you, and I think there are over 2,500 people watching all of you. We would love to hear from you. I think maybe we can go one at a time.
Yeah, we'll go with Lovnish and Delhi
Greg?
first. Lovnish, what's the vibe like in Delhi? Is everyone excited about Sphinx?
They are asking for the vibe. Can we cheer for Shardeum? So 1, 2, 3. Shardeum! So everyone is super excited here, and we are like 24 from Delhi.
Lovnish, what's the vibe like in Delhi? Is everyone excited about? Awesome. Thanks so much, Lovnish. Hey, Sadio, how are you guys doing? Where are you calling from?
So everyone is super excited, and we are like.
Great. Well, yeah, we have. It looks like we have a few cities in India on the line. Hey, Suhas, how are you? Could we unmute?
So I think there might be a lag between what we say and when they actually hear what we say.
It should be on. Hey, Suhas, can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Amazing. We have Ukraine online. Hey, Validator team, how's it?
So Greg, how many total watch parties do we have going on?
Currently, we have 11 countries in 18 different cities. So there are 18 watch parties going on live around the world at the moment.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. and it looks like some of these watch parties have like probably 100 users or something. It's pretty big.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I even saw like happy birthday Shardeum cakes at some of them.
Oh,
yeah,
wow, that's awesome.
1-year anniversary. So there's some cakes there. I wish I had a slice. I guess we can call these like proof of community watch parties.
Let's hear it from the rest of the teams as well. I think we are not able to hear Suhas, but that's teams from Ukraine, Indonesia, Nigeria. Someone joined from Kolkata. I think, guys, feel free to talk. I think everyone's muted themselves.
I guess we can call this the proof of community watch parties. Yeah.
Okay, I think what's happening is they're also playing the video, so we're just able to hear that back. I guess it's better muted maybe.
It's amazing to think decentralization brings people together from all around the world when otherwise we probably would have never really interacted, with everyone.
Yeah, now we can hear someone.
It's better muted.
Hey everyone in Kolkata.
It's amazing to think decentralization brings people together from all around the world. And otherwise, we probably would have never really interacted, with everyone. Hey everyone in Kolkata.
Okay, I think this is supposed to be chaotic. That's what multiple events are all about. But I think, one of the things I'm just thinking with so many people, maybe someday we should have like a large global Shardeum event where we get everyone from around the world to, a single location. And we do maybe for the mainnet. Greg, let's try that. Maybe, we could have like one large event at a central place where everyone can just fly in. And we launch the mainnet from there. That'll be crazy. But yeah, I think it's really amazing to see all of you. There's someone from Italy joining in as well. It's insane, I think. Looking at so many people joining from around the world.
It's almost hard to talk because it just feels so exhilarating seeing these communities all around the world join in for the Shardeum Betanet launch. And we've had such a focus at first on India, and Shardeum is the first L1 that's native to the India, but decentralization means the world. We need everyone to participate. And so I think moving forward, we're really excited to start to get communities from all around the world, like we've done here today, involved in Shardeum. And from a technical perspective, it's great that now with Shardeum Sphinx, anyone in the world can participate in the network.
Absolutely. We look forward to everyone running their own nodes, and the entire team is here to help you all out. I saw quite a few comments about can non-technical folks run the node, and I think that's our objective, which is why you also have a really simple to use interface. But we'll make it easier. So this is like step one. We've just launched it, and there's a lot to learn for our team as well from how you use it, and things might be a little difficult in the beginning, but we are here to listen to your feedback, and we'll make it easier and easier. The aim is that it should not be a barrier whether you are a technical person or a non-technical background. You should be able to run a node and participate in decentralization. So that's our goal. And please feel free to keep sending those feedback. If you get stuck at running a node, I'm sure someone from the community will help you out to do it. And when you learn that, maybe just write a simple blog post on how you solved it for yourself, because that's going to help others run the nodes as well. So while our team will definitely make it easy, but I think writing your experiences on how it was to set up a node, the challenges that you faced and how did you solve it, I think that is going to help others run their own nodes as well. Yep, I think with that, Greg, or Omar, any last thoughts before we wrap up?
Greg, do we want to also mention like any kind of page or anything that we've set up for feedback for people, if they have any issues, or maybe that information is in the docs?
Yeah, absolutely. So following this event, once Sphinx is live, we'll be making an announcement on Twitter and Discord, all of our socials, with the endpoints for the network and the docs for how to set up your own validator. If you run into any bugs or challenges, we'll also include a GitHub issues page where you can report those bugs, and also feel free to post about any challenges or issues you're having on our Discord. Thank you everyone so much for joining. This is our final step forward towards mainnet, and really excited for everyone all around the world to participate in the network. And thank you so much for being a Shardeum. If you've attended today's event, you can claim a POAP, the Shardeum Sphinx POAP. Please scan this QR code here or visit the
I'm
URL.
scanning it now.
And
Scan it.
If you do, you can own the same POAP as Nishal Shetty. Wanted to mention the POAP is only available for the next 5 minutes. So if you want the POAP, you have to claim it now. Just to make sure everyone heard me, the POAP is only available to claim for the next 5 minutes. So if you want the POAP, you have to claim it before this timer is over.
Okay, so that's the timer all about.
Okay, do we want to show the POAP? Because we have the timer going. But it's not, I don't know if the POAP is showing.
No, I think they just the timer is the only thing right now. But 5 minutes is a long time. I think we can wrap up, but I think it's good information for everyone to know that this is for a limited time period. Maybe Chandesh, can you just show if you're able to show the POAP link so that whoever missed out on that, they can just scan it again. Would you be able to do that? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, you guys can scan this and claim your POAPs. It's, I think, another 3 minutes to go before it ends. So please, do it quickly. And this is just a small token of appreciation from all of us for attending the Betanet release event. And we look forward to seeing a lot of nodes running. Omar, what's the minimum number of nodes that we're looking at? The initial default number?
The team is going to have like 150 nodes, but as more community members start joining, we'll pull back the nodes run by the team, and we want to have at least 150 nodes running in the network. Now, if the network starts getting TPS traffic, then the network will automatically want to increase that number of nodes. And so it can go up to like 300 nodes or 500 nodes, depending on how much traffic the network is seeing. But yeah, we want at least a minimum of 150 nodes.
Okay, sounds good. All right. All right, then I think thanks a lot, everyone. It's time for us to wrap up. Still 2.5 minutes for claiming the POAPs. So please go ahead and see you all again very soon with our next updates. Have a good day. See you. Bye.